This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so today is Thursday, February 6th, and as always, everything that we're going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so we got some good stuff going on this morning. Obviously, we had some earnings that came in, which is always a great catalyst for us to get some volatility and volume, and some brand new stocks that really don't typically move very well for a day trade. And one of those being WWE. But we actually were able to trade this last week after we saw this big drop coming in, and then I'm going to have to assume that they had some type of earnings coming in this morning, and we ended up taking a $10 hit. So one of the things that I'm just looking for right now is the fact that the orders are very thin, and just based off of its personality with printing since 8 o'clock this morning, it's really not giving a large amount. So the moves that we're actually seeing aren't taking as much as you normally would look for. But one thing just is the amount of selling now for, taking a $10 hit. I'm not really seeing a ton of new selling coming in underneath that 40 level. If anything, I'm actually seeing a bit more covering than that selling. So if we don't, continue to see new selling coming in, we're just going to get riders that are coming and popping us back up above this 40. And this is, not technically really a bottom fish, but technically, it can still fit into that category, because for this thing to pop up another, $3-4 before we end up seeing it come back down with any type of selling. And once again, it's going to need the selling to even tell us that it's going to come back down. But it's a very easy thing for it to do. Based off of a $10 move, the range is going to be big. So we do not have the show of hand yet, but so far what we're seeing, it's telling us that we're going to be looking for this thing to, make a substantial pullback, just because we keep seeing, riders and buyers and covers coming in and not many new sellers. Next thing looking at is Piton. So Piton is technically should be on the side list right now, and I am gonna put it, but overall, just from yesterday, obviously you can see jumped up to that 35. We did not hit. It got a beautiful trigger down, and it's just been kind of trickling around. But one thing I just want to point out here, and the reason I'm so interested in it, is because if you remember, about a few weeks ago, we just had a monster seller come in at that 30 level and just really show a gigantic position. And then obviously this being the catalyst to kind of push it back down to that 30, I'm just very interested here to see what we end up getting. Now, obviously there's not much going on in it whatsoever, but one of those things is that when we look at longer term prints, it's been longer term now. So just something that I am going to be keeping a close eye on, but obviously, kind of more of a side list stock just based off of the way that it's trading right now in the pre-market. Twitter. So Twitter, Dave, we've been talking about this. I know Davis has been talking about this a lot. And as we can see, looks like market liked it. So, we jumped up about $3 from this morning, 33.50 up to that 36.50. Beautiful buying that came in at 36. Okay, 36 and underneath there, and we're kind of pushing. Just keep in mind that with this, especially with Twitter moving this much, on average moves 67 cents, but it's starting to get up to a kind of a better price point where we've seen just a lot more of a different personality than what we've seen over the past. And the fact that obviously coming in right now, already having a $3 range within the pre-market is showing us that we're going to be expecting a lot more out of this. Obviously, 4.8 million shares being traded as well is a huge factor in us expecting a lot more than the 67 range as well. But I'm coming under that 36.50. As you can see, we are getting some new buying that's coming in. Obviously, we're going to see selling after jumping up that much. But we are still getting new buying. So really, what we're going to be looking for is some nice controlling prints here at 36.50. Let's look for a nice little pullback towards that 36 level, and then a trigger back towards that upside. Obviously, we need the prints first, though. Just no show of hand yet that's above that 36, besides the fact getting some nice off-level buying. And then one thing else I do want to keep an eye on, too, that's on my side list. Okay, so PTO, we're moving. PTON, we're moving to side list. WWE, Twitter on regular list, and then MYO. And the reason I'm MYO is because look at the daily on this thing. This thing can move. Now, it's only got 120,000 shares being traded right now, but it's something that I have to pay attention to, because if we get a nice show of hand that comes in this, similar to what we just saw here at 32, it does not take a lot to really get this thing going. So right now, it's absolute garbage within the way that's trading. If you look after yesterday, if we kind of blow up oops, not what I was looking to do. Let's fix this real quick. I'm just going to copy another window, and I'll find that later. Okay. But like I said, yes, coming back over to here, it's we need to do that. It's something I do have to look, but getting that chart bigger, and back to what I was talking about, if you look yesterday, after we pretty much pretty much made that beautiful move in the morning. It got really, really ugly. The volume got extremely sporadic. It just was kind of all over the place. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to be looking very closely in the morning, but don't get stuck on this. If it doesn't move, it doesn't move. It's just something that based off of, I mean, look at it. It's not doing anything, and it went from 28.50, all the way up to about 33.50. So it's just, there's a huge amount of range in this, and this is the type of personality, guys, that we see a stock go from 32 to 100. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. Nope, but this is the type of personality it would have. So that's something I have to have my eyes on. I need to put another notch in the bedpost with a $100 stock. So we're going to need it at about $1.40 in that area. And other than that, guys, I don't really see too much else out there. It's once again, we got some good stories, some news stories, and that's really what we're looking for. Those cliff notes that come in that show us big range, big interest, a big volatility, and big volume. All right, guys, anything else out there that I missed? Anything else out there? Nope. All right. So we got a nice short list. So we know exactly what we're looking to pay attention to. Mariola said Jan, so we obviously have to pull that up immediately. And it's definitely going. Yeah. So we'll put this. I can't see anything that's happening with it, unfortunately, for some reason. Not really sure why. Probably because it just doesn't ever actually trade. On average, it trades 100,000 shares. So that's probably why we're not seeing much. But definitely something to keep an eye on. So we'll throw that one on our list. JAN. PBR, huh? And I'll get to Anthony. I'll get to Guild in 1 second. See, the thing with PBR though is that it's just one of those quanti type trading. So it's actually really hard for us to be able to read this, and you really just kind of get that mix that comes in once the market opens. Right now, it looks like mostly buying, but you get like beautiful prints at 14.50, and then they're ask prints, then bid prints, and ask prints, then bid prints. So it's one of those things that's like, I'm not into this stock specifically. I kind of hate PBR just from the past. It's just it's a harder read, but. Definitely something we'll put it on our side list. I'm personally just not going to trade it. I'm not a big fan. And then Guild, yeah. So Guild, I mean, overall Guild, we know the amount of selling that it has in this thing, it's ready to fall off a cliff. I mean, that's pretty obvious. We have 65, we have 66. So it being up here right now, if you could get some nice short-term selling to show that it's going to actually make that move, absolutely. No reason in the world not to watch this thing. And not for nothing, but it trades $1.13 on average, and it trades 11 million, almost 12 million shares. So it pretty much, you could almost always find a trade that comes into it. So something to look at. PBY has nothing going on at all night right now, but 14 was very significant level yesterday. Keep an eye on the side. Very good advice. All right, guys, let's get ready for our morning. Okay, remember, as always, our habits. Let's focus on what our strengths are, and let's go towards them today. Okay, let's make sure that we're looking at our Post-it notes. We write down our game plan of what we're going to accomplish, not what we're looking to accomplish, what we're going to accomplish today. All right, guys, see everyone in the chat, and happy trading.